Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and do celebrity legal news. Also, join me for my pop culture chats. If you'd like to support the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. My Venmo and Cash App is below. Thank you so much, and let's get started. All right, people. What this is an update on the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case. What I'm going to do is just go over a few articles. And while I do that, make sure you all hit that like button. You see it up here at the top. Hit that QR code and you can subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Listen, we're going to go over some information. Now, the last information that we had uh, is that you had the death certificate and the cause of death was deferred until the autopsy was completed and they needed the toxicology information. And so it's my understanding that the information is coming soon. Uh there is no new information at this point. So what we're going to do is kind of give some information. I've been following this private investigator on X, and so they have some information. They did a tweet that I wanted to kind of go over, and then I wanted to go over a couple of news articles. So first, let me get that up here. And again, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get everything together, y'all. All right. So this is SF Investigate Steve Fisher. I'm going to read this tweet and then we're going to talk about it. It says the LAPD confirmed to KTLA News on November 6th that their prior news release stands on its own. That release stated that no crime other than concealment of a body may have occurred in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case involving David. The LA County District Attorney's Office also confirmed that no case has yet been presented to their office for consideration. So again, it's now still in the investigative stages. It's worth noting that nowhere in the press release or in any official statements has there been any mention of an investigation into the relationship David had with Celeste. Yes, that could be a difficult case to prove because Celeste is no longer here to testify, but that does not mean that it should not be pursued. Hopefully, law enforcement and the DA's office will do their job and take on a case even if it's challenging. Even if the people close to Celeste are unwilling to cooperate because it would expose their knowledge of the illegal relationship, charges should still be filed. We must prove we will protect children from predators. In a way, it feels like Celeste delivered some form of justice for herself with her final live stream calling David out for what he was. An RAPIST. So this was this. So I clicked on this link, which got me to KTLA. I'm going to share this tab instead so we can go over what he was talking about. So basically, what they're saying is probably the toxicology has come back and it probably has come back inconclusive. Probably there was no drugs in her system or whatever it is that they were looking for the toxicology to come back for. It seems like it left more questions than answers. So all we do know is she was deceased. Somehow, some way she became deceased. And someone placed her body into the frunk, which is the front trunk uh, of David's car. Who did it? Why they did it? When they did it? We won't know. We don't have any information on that. So let's continue. Let's go over what the article that he was referring to. It said someone hid the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. What could be the punishment? Because it doesn't look like they're able to conclude whether or not she was uh how her how she died. They're just concluding that somebody took her deceased body and put it in the trunk instead of calling the police. So I'm not sure whether or not they know if it's they can't tell if it's the suicide, the homicide, or the accidental death. Weeks after the body of missing Lake Elsinore teen Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found stashed in the front trunk. I guess they call them frunks. I'm calling it a frunk. There are still many questions. So there's more questions than there are answers. How did she pass away? How did she die? Was it murder? Who hid the body in the Tesla? But for the big questions we still don't have answer to, there's one we do. LAPD says someone did conceal Celeste's body in that trunk. And regardless of the autopsy, that in itself may be a crime. So, and regardless of the autopsy, that in itself may be a crime. That I'm making an assumption from that statement that they don't know how she died. They don't have any way to figure out or without spending more money on how she died. That in itself may be a crime. The Los Angeles Police Department tells KTLA today that this remains an ongoing investigation and the quote news release stands on its own. In that news release dated September 29th, the LAPD states the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Miss Rivas Hernandez's death. As such, it remains unclear whether there's any criminal culpability beyond this concealment of her body. RHD is thoroughly examining every aspect of this case to uncover the truth and seek justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez and her family. We went to KTLA's legal analyst, Allison Treasel. Treasel explains that what might be surprising is that concealing an accidental death is only a misdemeanor. It's a violation of California Penal Code Section 152. The maximum someone can receive is in custody for this offense is up to 1 year in county jail and a maximum fine of $10,000. Y'all, y'all. And they're also alluding to the fact, according to the investigator, is the fact that even though you've got pictures and everything saying that that they have been together and he knew her, they cannot prove whether or not that they had a schmexual relationship. They don't I guess looking at her body, there is no way to conclude whether or not that there was a sexual relationship that happened between her and this singer. Now, what's interesting to me, because I'm willing to bet you that the family is probably tight-lipped at this point, because there's so many questions to be answered. Because even after she had been reported missing, I think that there is video showing her being at home arguing with the neighbor. They're showing video of her or talking to her sister or being around her sister and being around not her sister but other family members. So I'm quite sure that this family is going to be as tight-lipped as they can, because they can't seem to effectively explain what happened to their 13 and 14-year-old daughter when she was supposed to be in the care and custody of her. What I'm interested in is We heard reports from some of the other kids or things that were around that this man was paying money. What was he paying money for? Is that being investigated? Why was he paying people money? Did he pay her parents money? When you follow the money, you can get some answers. But again, she's now this said accidental death is only a misdemeanor. So the big question goes back to that autopsies, which has still been deferred to rule once and for all as to how Celeste died. Was it an accident or was it murder? They don't have any idea. Trissel points out that failing to report an accidental death is not a crime in the state of California. Interesting. Therefore, in order to be convicted of a PC section 152, the person must commit an overt act like moving, concealing, or hiding the body. Other facts still be determined. Was Celeste's death accident or not? They're still talking about that. No one seems to know at this point. Who put her body in the Tesla and why? You know, everyone has all of their theories. Everyone has their theories. I've heard theories saying that a family member who was mad because, again, I was talking about payments, that payments weren't paid out. I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of theories that are going out, but there is no factual information coming out. And theories are just what they are. They're just theories and assumptions. And about assumptions, we all, they're like we all have them. So the LA County District Attorney confirms that as of November 6th, no case has been presented to its office for filing. So as of yesterday, there has been no filing. The district attorney the police have not presented the district attorney with the case. And again, when that toxicology report comes back, if it hadn't already come back, if it doesn't yield anything, y'all, this is just going to be one of those unsolved cases. They're not going to know anything that happened. And again, I promise you that David is no longer cooperating if they're looking at him to be a suspect. So we will never know what happened to that young baby, but everybody is going to be side-eyeing David from now on. So, y'all, a mess. The last thing I wanted to do, I just wanted to kind of go over. Give me one moment. Let me refresh this page. We'll just go over the video. We won't read the information, but we will definitely just go over this video. We'll wait till these commercials come through. All right. Hold on just one moment, y'all. Because I don't know if you were hearing that. All right. So I'm going to start this over again.
Steve, let's talk toxicology report. First, I gave a little hint there. You have the answer, though. Why is it that we think the toxicology report on Celeste might actually be coming sooner rather than later?
Well, I've been tracking the cases around deaths around the same time as hers and from the weeks before, and those that were in deferred status have been changing over to, having cause and manner. There are a few cases that still haven't, but there are several cases actually on the same day, on the 8th, September 8th, as hers, that toxicology has come back because they now list some of the other people's deaths as effects of fentanyl or whatever. So I believe her initial tox may be back, and they're still working through, cause and manner. But there's also a good chance, because of her state of decomp, that they have to send, this out for additional testing or a different type of testing to get, a result.
Just wonder if they're going to tell us about it, even if it does come in today, yesterday, or
Looks like with her stage of decomp, whatever that second test was, they should have ordered it the first time. That's just I'm just saying, particularly when you know that this case has become national news. It looks like it would have they would have done all those tests the first time so they could get the information in.
tomorrow. That's the other issue. I'm so short on time and I got a million questions. Let's talk Build-A-Bear. That certificate that says Esmeralda. We don't know if it's Celeste's cousin Esmeralda or if it's the cousin that did the GoFundMe, but the date is pretty fascinating, and the fact that it's found inside his home. This is April in 2024. The certificate. Celeste would have been 13, and again, Esmeralda might have been what, about 15 or 16. But this likely puts Celeste inside David's home, doesn't it?
Well, it puts it inside the home, and it also, there was people aware of where Celeste was, and they're obviously in contact.
Again, because there have been family members that were in contact with her even while she had she was reported as a runaway. So she had been she had been bouncing back in front of family members. So if she has been bouncing back to other family members, there's no way that I can understand that she somehow didn't come in contact with her parents, with her siblings, or whomever at some point in time, and that they possibly knew where she was, or at least within the area of where she was.
They planned this out, and I don't believe this is just a coincidence. I believe that this is that Esmeralda, and David was there. We know at Six Flags that day. Celeste was a missing person, and then shortly after, she shows up at graduation. And I think there's some people pushing back, saying, well, she's Esmeralda's a senior in high school. The point is that I don't think Celeste was the only person there for that graduation. I think there was adult family members there as well.
Exactly. It's not like she just showed up and she was the only person there. If this young lady was graduating, her parents, her siblings, her aunts and uncles, and all of that, they would have been at this particular graduation. So there's no way that you're going to make me believe, maybe or maybe not Celeste's parents, but Celeste's auntie, a whole lot of people that could have called and said, hey, Celeste is here at the graduation. You want me to talk to her and ask her where she's going or what she's doing or where she's at? And they could have slyly asked that question and got that information back to the parents. And if she would have said where she was, they could have gotten that information back to the parents so that the parents could contact the police. But, like I said, we don't have any factual evidence about what exactly happened, and everything else is just basically theory. But I would make the assumption that there was just no way that you could have seen or not have seen this young lady out and about with her family members.
And they should have notified law enforcement that Celeste is not, we've located her, and then they intervene and find out what's going on. But that didn't happen.
Well, we've just put she was a runaway, but was she really missing? I mean, I've lost count now of the sightings and the moments where she was together with family members. I'm going to combine these two questions for time here.
Sure.
You have heard that the family told people after Celeste went missing not to look for her, and we've noticed that that Vegas photo was deleted from the aunt's Instagram. What do you make of that?
And that's Esmeralda's mom. And so I was told by a source very close that on the last time she went missing, the family members were saying, don't look for her. She's staying with other family members near LA. And all of a sudden we see a lot of interaction with Esmeralda and Esmeralda's mom. So it's, these are all dots we're collecting, and, and then we'll connect them.
Which makes me wonder, what were they saying if they meant family members, that she's staying with family members? Because if she was staying with David, he was no family member. And I'll remind everybody that she was 14 when she went into that trunk, and 15 when her rotting body was taken out of that trunk. Steve Fisher, you do such great work. Keep coming back.
All right, people. That is all I got, which is definitely a shame. Definitely a shame. So, what do y'all think? Do you think that the LAPD and the LA coroner's office is going to come up with some viable conclusion about what happened? Will the LAPD continue to investigate where she was or get a good timeline of her movement? Y'all let me know down in the comments. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. And we'll be back later if there's any more updates on this Celeste Rivas Hernandez case.